taking over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. It's pain-free Friday. Ferrall's going out. Minutes on a mahogany, waxing it up. 100, 200. The bad seed, the broken the bad apple with a bad attitude. Bad at her, bad tape, bad lie, bad dude, bad breath, bad vibes. We are live in the Magic City Studios in Ferrall, Appalachia, right across the river through the woods from where Granny loves her Josh wine as long as she can mix it up with some 41 Cherries Hybrid in New York City. Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake-it-up. I'm up in the come around, fight the party up. Rats on the west side, bedbugs uptown. What about the towns of tattered my brain splatter all over Manhattan? It's only rock and roll, but I like it. Yes, I do, but I like it. Yeah, should do better. Ooh, woo, woo. I think I might have caught some from Keith. Yeah. Hey, what's gigging? I'm Ferrall, on with the Prime Minister Cam Stewart today. Mafia running it with Preston Pearson. A birthday roll call to kick it off. Ramondre Stevenson, 26. Jamal Murray, 27. D'Lo, 28. Andrew Wiggins, 29. Shaquille Morris, 30. Byron Maxwell, 36. Gerard Mayo, 38. Mark Daniel, 39. Andrew Ward, 40. Charles Tillman, 43. Scott Ellerton, 48 with Jeff O'Neal. Pat Barnes and Chris Garner. Rondell White, 49. Ryan Grigson, 52 with Jamel Watson, Greg Hill, 52. Steve Stricker and Gordon Murphy, 57. John Drews, 58. Bobby Bonilla, getting paid forever, 61. Ed Too Tall Jones, 73. Freddie Bolitnikoff, 81. And Tom Osborne, the legend, 84. Happy birthday to you. Welcome our radio affiliates on a paid-free Friday. Sirius XM Channel 159, our satellite partners all over the Southern Hemisphere. Check out their new app, Badass, and Sports Byline and their radio affiliates on down the line out of San Fran. Deepak holding it down for us. Last night, the Mavericks won their 7th in a row. They beat the Suns by 10 in Dallas. They outscored them by 13 in the second half. Kyrie and whiny crybaby B combined for 70. We got Kyrie slicing through the defense, cutting to the 10 in the fourth. We'll give you that. Thunder roll over the Clippers, 129-107 in Oak City. All they do is win. We got Shai Gilgeous for you today, plus the Shai Gilgeous MVP odds. The Knicks roll the Sixers 110-96 in Philadelphia. The Knicks were up 23 at the half. The Sixers only scored 15 in the fourth quarter. How embarrassing. Bogdanovich lighting it up 6 for 6 from downtown, off the bench no less. And that breaks a 4-game skid for the Knicks. The Nuggets beat up the Wizards by 20. They covered the 15. They were up 13 after the first and 23 by the half. The Joker, the third player in NBA history with a triple-double against every team in the league. He doesn't get excited about it, though, in the least. We'll hear from the Joker. The Celtics beat the Bulls 129-112. Big second half, 70-50. They outscored them. We got a little Derek White D leading to a Jay Brown and one for you today on C2C. Gabe Morency this very hour from Vancouver, Canada. The Dubs rolled the Lakers 128-110 at the Chase in the city by the Bay. Steph Curry was feeling it early. We've got highlights. Magic beat the Cavs in Cleveland 116-109. The Pacers win over the Pistons in Indy 129-115. They covered. They were up 42-25 after the first and 72-43 at the half. The Raptors rolled the Nets in Toronto 121-93. They outscored them 39-22 in the fourth. Pels destroyed the Rockets on Bourbon Street 127-105. The Hornets got by the Jazz in Salt Lake Shakers 115-107, 30-17 fourth quarter gave them the win. The Kings hold off the Spurs barely by 5 in Sacktown at the Golden One. And a judge declines to dismiss the sexual assault and battery lawsuit against Dwight Howard. We got NBA win total increases and decreases, MVP odds, all of tonight's games. Toronto and Hot Town, Cleveland and Philly, Phoenix at Houston, Clips on Beale Street in Memphis, Washington at OKC, Miami at New Orleans, at the Smoothie, and Milwaukee, Minnesota, the game of the night at the Target Center in Minneapolis. Plus, Charlotte and Golden State, of course. We'll look at Golden State 0-3-1 against the spread as a double-digit favorite this season. Denver in Portland at the Moda in Rip City, and the Spurs, Lakers at the Crypt in Lipstick City. 4 o'clock, we'll start getting into everything that happened in college basketball. Washington State with the upset at the McHale Center last night in Tucson. 77-74 over Arizona. Jalen Wells with 27 for Washington State. We got him hitting a big three, gets the foul, turns it into a 4-point play for you today. Purdue stomps Rutgers in West Lafayette and Mackey, 96-68. Edey, 25-7 rips, 2 swats, 7 of 8 from the floor, 11 for 11 from the line. Florida Atlantic beat SMU by 10 in Boca Chica. Minnesota beat Ohio State 89-79 at Williams Arena. Elijah Hawkins, a career-high 24 for Minnesota, 17 in the second half. They cover every time they play the Gophers. Northwestern got by Michigan at home at Evanston, 76-62. Gonzaga beat up Portland, 86-65. Wilmington over William and Mary, 81-65. Hofstra beat Drexel, 69-58. Charleston over Delaware, 90-71. Tarleton upset Grand Canyon at home by 3. Moorhead over Western Illinois, 78-57. Oregon beat Stanford in Palo Alto. And the Anteaters beat the Gauchos in Irvine at the Bren Event Center, 81-69. LSU fined $100,000 by the SEC for their fans storming the court after their upset win over Kentucky on Wednesday. We'll get into all of tonight's games as well, including Nevada, San Jose State, and Kent State, Akron, Toledo, Bowling Green. A good one, Yale and Cornell, Princeton and Harvard as well. All of Saturday's games. We'll look at the best of those. Count on that. We'll talk rack with Coach Young. We'll talk rack with Jerry Palm, the bracketologist from CBS Sports. Caitlin Clark held to 24 points as number 4 Iowa fell to the number 14 Lady Hoosiers, 86-69. This just in. The Indiana women's team can beat the men's team by 20. In fact, they spot them 10 and still beat them. It was the biggest loss for Iowa since their title game last year. Clark still 75 points away from Pete Maravich for the all-time NCAA scoring leader of men's or women's hoops. You name it, we'll do it with Coach. He'll give you his best plays for tonight. We'll do today in sports history. Count on that. Rich Sermonello talking about the best high school football players in the country today. And the Canes, a late goal over the Panthers. I hit that. Aho, the winner. The Rangers rolled the Devils. Kreider had a big night. Red Wings, the late Patty Kane overtime winner at plus 124 for Uncle Futrelli. You got to love it. We'll set you up for all the NHL games tonight as well. Let's roll on a Friday, coast to coast. Go with us.
Johnny's a 19-point lead late in the opening half, only to squander that lead. Hall ball under Shaheen Holloway coming all the way back.
All these guards start jacking up shots, and then Cioriano doesn't get the ball. Hey, Rick, how about stop throwing your kids under the bus and get your big man the ball, your best player, play inside out like you were doing earlier in the game, and you probably would have won.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is going to fall 6, 7, or 8, right? This is going to fall 6, 7, or 8. 6 you lose, 7 you push, 8 you win. So it's going to come down to the end.
And he missed the 3, and they are not going to foul. They're not going to foul. He just drove and scored, though. Oh, they gave up a dunk with 14.1 to go.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It felt during the year that there was a little bit of disconnect with Wilkes and Kyle Shanahan. The total points allowed by Steve Wilkes' defense the last 3 years before this, head coach for the Cardinals, they gave up the 26th most points, defensive coordinator for the Browns, 20th most points, and then Carolina, they gave up the 19th most points.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Oh, what's up? You watching the game? Or maybe the one later? Put a little BetMGM action on it, and now any game becomes the game. When you got overs and unders, you're in it every time they throw the ball, kick the ball, dribble the ball. Maybe it's not even a ball.
Who needs a ball?
Now that bet's got you watching every inning, half, round, period, set, hole, a lap. Right from the edge of your seat. Hit him with the promo.
Yeah, so the airlines are making billions every year, charging you to, put your bag on the plane, billions in profits. Unlike BetMGM, who gives away money to people. The airlines take your money. BetMGM gives you money. It's a beautiful thing. They're giving away free stacks, 150 in bonus bets. All you have to do is use the code SG150. Sign up for the BetMGM mobile app on iOS or Android or at BetMGM.com. Open your account with $5. Place a bet for $5. Standard odds. Win or lose is irrelevant. You will immediately get bonus bets, $150 in bonus bets, and you will be off and running with your new BetMGM account, and you're going to like it. Get the SportsGrid app on iOS and Android while you're there. It's free, which is beautiful. You can follow your favorite hosts like the Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, live. And you can watch him. You can listen to him. You can get in-game odds and everything, bacon and egg, cheese, sandwiches. It's unbelievable. And stories, highlights, videos, and more on the SportsGrid app. It's free. Free is me. We start with the NBA today and the Prime Minister in Toronto. The Mavericks beat the Suns by 10 last night in Dallas. That's 7 in a row. Kyrie slicing through the D for a layup in the fourth late on TNT.
Deflected. Good hands. Good defense by Dallas. Moving the other way behind the back and into Grayson Allen. Oh, what a play by Kyrie. Timeout Phoenix.
So I told you, Cam, that I was on Dallas. I'm on that backcourt. They're too hard to stop. I even said to you yesterday that I give them an outside shot as the 5. Like, I give you 4 teams that I think matter in the West, and they would be the outlier. I like them as well with that backcourt. And the way they can score and shoot, they're capable of anything. If they stay hot like this, going to April, I think they're going to be a dangerous commodity in the playoffs with Luka and Kyrie.
Great call there, Ferrall. It was a short price last night. I jumped on your wave. Great pick. And I'm with you. These guys combined for 70. They play a little bit of defense. We talked about this. The Timberwolves are going to gag. I'd rather have a team like Dallas. You're right. Maybe these guys are a play-on team right now. Man, they look real good.
You know what's weird is that he is so incredible at big moments. Like, Luka Doncic wants the ball and wants to be in a crazy game, in a playoff game, in a tight game, in an overtime game, in a game around the world. If they're playing internationally, when he was with Slovenia, he wasn't afraid of anybody. He wants the rock, and he likes beating teams that are more loaded, that are better, that on paper get all the juice and all the publicity. That guy is up for any challenge. I'll give him that. He never stops complaining and crying to the refs, but nobody can stop him.
It's a great call, Scott. I think he's got to have to stop doing that because after a while, the refs are like, shut up. And come playoff time, it's just like not as much as hockey, but you're going to get away with more checks. You know what I mean? You can a little more contact. So Luka's got to shut it up a bit. You said it. One of the best players in the league. Complain, pick your spots. Don't do it all the time. I love your pick. You know what? You got me thinking, Scotty. The Prime Minister and the Dallas Mavericks, that might be a juicy, juicy dog.
Yeah, and huge odds. The Thunder we gave you last night over the Clippers, and they handled them easily in OKC, 129-107. Shai Gilgeous, he makes Norman Powell look, it's just easy, with the clean J on Bally Sports.
As Powell also back in the game for L.A. Oh, Shai just threw him to the floor, and SGA once again from the mid-range adds another to the highlight reel.
Yeah, it just never ends. Can we show the Shai Gilgeous odds for MVP of where they opened and then where they were last week and where they are now? I think he's the best player to watch on a nightly basis this season. Like, I want to watch Thunder games. I want to watch him and Jay Will. I like watching this young team, Dort, Abraham Lincoln. I think their coach is fantastic, too. I still told you yesterday, I like him in the Western Final. I think they're that good. I want to see him there. I think it's time for the changing of the guard in the NBA.
Great call, Scott. A couple tough Canadians, too. Dort, he does his thing, man. That guy's tough as nails. Grew up in the streets of Montreal. Morency's old hood there. And I'll tell you, SGA, man, I wish we had 20-1 at the start of the year. That price, though, it's a little bit too low. I need a little bit something, a little thicker stake, Scott. 2-1, I need more, but I love this kid. And you saw Canada basketball. These guys get it right now. That team is stacked, and SGA is the key.
The Knicks spanked the Sixers 110-96 in Philly. They were up 23 at the half. They break a 4-game skid. This team is flat out better than the Philadelphia 76ers, and they're better than the Sixers with Embiid as well.
You know what, Scott? The Sixers are fade material for me all the way down the stretch. I don't care. And you know what? We're going to make stacks. I love it too. The Knicks, they went in. We talked about this. All the teams that went into the break cold, they come out, they murder Philadelphia. I think the Sixers stink. I think they're overrated. I think their price stinks. And I'll tell you, the New York Knicks, they can do some things. When you get OG back on defense, it's going to be even bigger for these guys. Love it. They had injuries and they rolled Philadelphia. The Sixers reek.
They need Randall and OG on the floor, and that makes them dangerous. Speaking of danger, the Joker, the third player in NBA history with a triple-double against every team in the league. He had another one last night. Easy money over the Wizards, and they covered the 15. Here's the Joker, though. He doesn't get excited about anything.
I mean, it was, like I always say, it was just something after I finished career legacy milestone. Like, I'm going to look back, and I'm going to say that's a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, that was really exciting.
He's fun at parties, Scott. You got to bring this guy out. Hey, everybody, it's the Joker. You know what? He couldn't care less about the basketball struggling. He cares about his standard-bred horses back home.
Yeah.
He's a horse race guy. He doesn't care about this. Get me the hell out of here.
Have
Love
you
that.
seen the one where he's in the hotel lobby and the little tiny horse walks up to him and he's like, he likes me more? I think he likes that little horse more than playing basketball.
Big time. That guy will. He would rather hang out with that horse and feed it hay than talk to any teammate. I can tell you that. He loves horses. Yes.
All right, the Celtics beat the Bulls 129-112. Derek White's D leads to a Jaylen Brown and one on NBC Sports Boston.
Horford against Dosunmu. Got some cross matches here, and Derek White just blocked a 6'10" center. Another one! Oh, it's a personal block party here in Chicago. D. White with 3 swats in the first leads to an and one for Jaylen Brown.
How is that even possible? And I got to tell you, there's a few things in life. I don't think anything that I can think of that I hate more than the Boston Celtics. Honestly, my entire life, I hate them. And not only do I hate them, but you know what was worse was Cam is that honestly, like I hated him my whole life, but I still liked Larry Bird was my best, favorite player to watch. Like I couldn't stand the Celtics, but he was so good. He was so unbelievable and so selfless, so amazing, so dominant. It wasn't even funny. And then this team, they still covered in Chicago. They didn't look good early, but in the second half, man, did they roll them.
You told me, hey, they outscored them by 20, Scott. That's what good teams do. They put their foot on their throat. By the way, my dad was in the hospital. His neighbor, Larry Bird, his roommate. I couldn't believe it. Guy showed me his ID. Unreal.
Then he beat your dad in a 3-point shooting contest for his hospital meal.
Introducing Sports Injury Central's new feature, The Injury Edge, your NFL matchup cheat sheet. See all the significant injury mismatches broken down by offense and defense to highlight where the advantages lie. All for only $2.99 a week. How can you even consider making a bet or setting your fantasy lineup without knowing the injury mismatches? Go to sixscore.com today and get this week's Injury Edge.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is going to fall 6, 7, or 8, right? This is going to fall 6, 7, or 8. 6 you lose, 7 you push, 8 you win. So it's going to come down to the end.
And he missed the 3, and they are not going to foul. They're not going to foul. He just drove and scored, though. Oh, they gave up a dunk with 14.1 to go.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
A great point guard, a great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points
as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
You know, you can get Sports Rage every weeknight at 10 Eastern till 1 a.m., 7 to 10 West. And Morency joins us every day on C2C. And I got to ask you, when the Dodgers signed Ohtani and left the Angels, obviously, you and I were talking about 110-plus wins for the Dodgers. Watching him at camp take BP or even sign autographs is like it's like nothing you've ever seen. I mean, this guy can't even breathe. He's become such a megastar. He's not even a superstar. He's a megastar. But where does it leave the Angels? In hell, basically? Like, can you imagine what that team's going to be like now that he's gone, honestly?
All you need to know about the Angels, Scott, and I watch a lot of KTLA. I'm in LA a lot. We're on. You and I are both on in the California market. So the Angels are a team that I follow closely. All you need to know about the Angels, these poor bastards, Griffin Canning is their number one pitcher. Like, they're hoping that he's going to be their number one pitcher. And it's in the shadows, too. You know, the same day that Ohtani was being introduced and, the Dodgers opened up camp, there was Mike Trout down the road in Arizona. And a little bit of a subtle, I'm not going to say it was a subtle shot at Ohtani, but Mike Trout was asked, like, why are you here still, basically? Like, the media is wondering, do you want to get traded? Are you going to want to get traded? This is not going to be a fun, season with this team this year. And he said, I'm not looking for the easy way out. I'm not looking to go anywhere, which I think, times could change. But, the Angels, not really their fault, Scott. Marino had good intentions. He tried. You got Mike Trout. They have Ohtani. They signed a lot of other players, including a player like Anthony Rendon, who admits that he hates playing baseball and he only does it for the money. And he doesn't do it well, and he barely shows up. So, yeah, the Angels, being an Angel fan right now, not a great time, Scott. They got the Anaheim Ducks, at least, I guess. I say that sarcastically.
Yeah, they suck too. And listen, I got to tell you, if I had Rendon like that type of player saying it's a job, I don't care about it at all, it's the last thing I worry about, I would get rid of him. Just give him his money and get rid of him.
I said the same thing. You need to pay him anyways, right? It's guaranteed money anyways. Right. You need to pay him either way. Why not just say, bro, if this is so much of a job for you, we don't want you here either. How's that sound?
That's right.
Here's your money.
Right.
Go home. Don't play baseball. See if someone else picks your sorry ass up. Because I said the same thing, son. I wouldn't want this guy around my young players. I got young guys in this room. I don't need some dude telling them how to hate the man and how this is just a job and, don't go out of your way for the team. Exactly. You can't have this guy around. Dude, last year, the only time he ever showed emotion, Scott, is when one time a fan told him he sucked and he wanted to jump into the stands and punch him, if you remember.
Do you think that Trout should have, because he took the money, got the big, fat, juicy deal, living in Newport, playing in Anaheim, got a crib overlooking the Pacific Ocean. He's got the sunset every night and to the west. He's got it all. But do you think he really, beneath it all, would ever admit that he finally wanted to go home and play for the Phillies? I mean, honestly.
We've always expected it. That's the team that we've always expected that he would be on. And I think that'll eventually happen, Scott. There'll be no choice. I mean, unless the Angels shock us with a bunch of no-name players this year, which is not really going to happen. The whole organization is strange, Scott. You have the Marino wanted to sell, then he didn't want to sell. He wants to sell. Like, you never really know what the big overall plan and picture is there. But as far as the Dodgers are concerned, off and running. Ohtani, I was reading yesterday, they were talking in the LA Times about the impact in Japan already with Ohtani. And, the Dodgers were, I'm not going to say them by far the most popular, but the Dodgers have a big footprint in the Dominican Republic, okay? They've had a lot of Dominican players over the years. The Dodgers were like the first ones in the Dominican years ago to build a camp and have complexes there. So they have a good footprint there. Now they have Japan. Like, the Dodgers are thinking globally as far as we're not just looking to be popular in LA. We want to be popular around the world, right? They're looking to build this global brand, and it's a big start with Ohtani. But for me, man, it's not so much Ohtani. I mean, Ohtani's going to hit 45 home runs for them. JD Martinez hit 36 for them last year. So, like, I know Ohtani from a number production standpoint, I don't know really how much more he can do. I mean, once he starts pitching, it's the overall to have him on your team. It brings other people to your team. It sends a message. But for me, Scott, I love the Yamamoto signing. This kid's a monster, bro. Cy Young Award winner in a Japanese
Have you
league.
seen him warm up? He does all kinds of freaky stuff. He throws airplanes and stuff. Have you ever seen him? He throws these weighted airplanes. He does yoga flips. He does stuff I've never seen a pitcher do before to get his body loose. It's crazy. Watching him warm up is crazy.
There's a dude on the dude on the Blue Jays, Scott, the Japanese pitcher. He struggled once last year after a game. He goes, I didn't get my normal amount of sleep. And they said, how many hours did you sleep? He goes, 12. And they said, what?
What?
He goes, I usually sleep 18 hours before I pitch. He goes, I only slept 12 last night. He goes, I wasn't myself. I'm thinking 18. Get this, Ohtani, Scott? Ohtani sleeps 14 hours a day, bro.
Listen,
when you think of Ohtani, I swear to God, I'm telling you, Ohtani, he leaves, he sleeps. Basically, he lives one of those.
Games would be better if they didn't have the morning skate and let him sleep?
The only reason they have that's a great question. You were in the NHL. I asked someone once that I was at a college football, and after the game, the coach told it was a night game. The coach told him, enjoy yourselves, guys. I won't even ask what you're going to do. Ha, ha, ha. And I was like, well, this guy's pretty cool. He's telling him to go and party. And then he dropped, I'll see you at 8 in the morning, though. We're going to have a little run around at 8 in the morning. But do what you want to do tonight. But see, that's what the morning skate is. You think a player needs to skate at 10 a.m., Scott, after he's been traveling all year and playing? No. The morning skate it's an accountability roll call check. Otherwise, guys will go out all night and they'll do stupid things and they'll say, I'll sleep all day and I'm not playing till nighttime. So now it's no.
You mean is that when Matt Johnson and I got on the team bus covered in vomit? You mean that kind of thing?
Yes. It's 1 million. The morning skate is 1,000,000% designed as simply get your drunk ass out of bed at the hotel and get your ass down to the arena. Because otherwise, you guys, I know you'll just drink all night.
So, Will, what was your reaction to Vancouver losing again? And do you think Edmonton can cover on the puck line tonight against the Wild? And do you like the over in that game? There's only 3 games tonight, and the best one is that Wild Edmonton.
Rick Tocchet has a reputation. He looks scary, he looks mean and stuff, but he's actually pretty chill. He calls it like it is. Irritation is starting to kick in with the Canucks right now. You don't mind losing. It's how you lose. Is the effort there? And I don't think there was enough fight last night. One thing with the Canucks we're seeing right now, this is a growing process for them. When teams punch back, Scott, they're having a hard time. You know what I mean? They're used to hey, we're going to beat you up. Teams are punching back now. The better teams counterpunch, and the Canucks aren't winning these games suddenly. We're going to learn a lot. I'm telling you what, for a team that's had as good of a year as they've had, we're going to learn a lot about this Canuck team tomorrow evening in Vancouver when they host the Boston Bruins. This becomes gut check time. Got to beat the Bruins tomorrow.
Do the Suns win in Houston tonight? And who do you like in the Milwaukee-Minnesota game at Target? The Suns couldn't win in Dallas last night. Will they win in H-Town tonight?
No, I don't, dude. I don't trust them laying 3.5 points. I want to like this Suns team. They're just soft, bro. They're free. You got 3 dudes that can shoot the basketball, and Beal, Durant, and Booker, and you got nothing else. You don't play defense. I want to buy into this Phoenix Sun team. I can't. I know Houston aren't great, but I really don't trust the Phoenix Suns on the road in this spot. And this is gut check time once again for the Milwaukee Bucks. And you know what? Don't blame Doc Rivers, guys, if you're the Bucks. Blame yourselves. You guys are the ones that ran the guy out, Adrian Gifford, who was 30-13, because you didn't like him, because he didn't talk to you nicely enough. So now you've got a guy that talks to you nice and you lose. And it's his fault, but I think the Bucks are the play tonight, Scott, plus 4.5.
I mean, Minnesota's been fantastic, and they're at home. I think the Bucks just lose too much for my blood. I see nothing I like with that team. I still like Minnesota. What do you think of the Miami Pels game at the Smoothie on Bourbon Street?
Miami are another team that I just don't buy into. Give me the Pelicans in this spot, Scott. I haven't believed in the Pels. I haven't believed in the Heat all year. I think the Pelicans have beat them.
Toronto won last night at home. Tonight they're in Atlanta.
Atlanta aren't great. I don't think it ends well for the Raptors tonight.
All right.
I knew they win last night. Nice win for them last night, though.
Yeah, I got a lot of bets going tonight, so I just wanted to see where you were on those. Listen, Morenzi, have a great weekend. We will see you again on Monday on Coast to Coast. I'll check you out, bro. Be good.
I do like the Oilers tonight against the Wild. Let's rock, Scott.
All right, I'm with you there.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The Nets, though, because this team is hot garbage. I mean, poor Jacques Vaughn. Talk about just wrong place, wrong times.
I mean, the reason that they parted ways with Jacques Vaughn in the first place, this is a team that, yes, they had Kyrie and KD at the beginning of the year last year, but they were still a team that made the playoffs. They were still a team that took the game off the 76ers. And going into the All-Star break, they weren't even in the play-in picture.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It felt during the year that there was a little bit of disconnect with Wilkes and Kyle Shanahan. The total points allowed by Steve Wilkes' defense the last 3 years before this, head coach for the Cardinals, they gave up the 26th most points, defensive coordinator for the Browns, 20th most points, and then Carolina, they gave up the 19th most points.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game Time Decisions.
Luka
is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort
Night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
All right, back with the Prime Minister, and we continue on a paid-free Friday on C2C. The Warriors rolled the Lakers. They blew them out, 128-110. Steph Curry was feeling it early with the no-look behind-the-back pass early to Wiggins on TNT.
Hachimura comes up short. Oh! Razzle-dazzle! It's Curry to Wiggins for the big finish.
The Birdman with the call. Great no-look behind the back. You knew it was going to be one of those nights. And this guy just continues to dagger from deep. And the Warriors are playing some pretty decent ball. The Magic beat the Cavs 116-109 in Cleveland. Good call there, Cam. The Pacers beat the Pistons in Indy and covered. They were up 72-43 at the half. The Raptors rolled the Nets in Toronto. They outscored them 39-22 in the fourth. And I'll tell you what, I still don't care. I think that Raptors team is terrible. What do you think? I mean, they're not good.
Oh, no, they're horrible. But for the fact that the Nets get beat down like that, and you talked about the sale of the team, to get embarrassed by the Raptors like that, like the Raptors having one of the worst seasons ever. Like, that's just deplorable by the Nets. By the way, I got to give Bovey credit for that Orlando pick, too. He told me to take him on the money line. I just took the spread. But, I'm going to tell you, Orlando's going to be a covering machine, Scott. And great game tonight. We'll see how Golden State, they've been playing some really good basketball right now, covering numbers, good ATS. We'll see what happens. They're against another hot ATS team in your Charlotte Hornets, who we've been betting on.
Bovey called us Harry Styles and Adam Levine today on the picture today.
That guy's the best. He's like, Cam, fly out to Mexico. I got a place for him. Okay, Paul. I'll just do anytime you want. That guy's the best. Man, that guy's a world jet setter. Did he tell you, Gabe and I told you, he had a lawsuit with who's the young Brady bunch? Jan Brady? Yeah, he had he took her, they went to court together. He goes, I hate that chick.
Why?
Chick from the Brady Bunch. For over a land dispute, like in the condo, she was like the president of the condo corporation, kind of like what Seinfeld went down to Del Boca Vista, and apparently she was a real ball buster. Like everyone hated her. Oh, clean up this and that. Bovey's like, listen here, honey, like I'm paying this much rent. We got an issue. So apparently him and Marsha Brady went to court. I think Bovey won. He hates it. He told me, I hate that.
I remember once Bovey did the show from Costa Rica, and he had like monkeys on his shoulder when he was on the air with Morenzi.
On me. Yeah, I went to Gibraltar. A monkey took a leak on me. I got a great picture of it. Anyway, it's supposed to be good luck, but not really. Anyway,
I'm not sure if I believe that. The Pelicans destroyed the Rockets 127-105 on Bourbon Street. The Hornets beat the Jazz in Salt Lake. So can they do it again tonight is the question. After they keep covering against everybody, do you like their chances again tonight? They're taking on Curry and the Dubs in San Francisco. Does Charlotte keep scoring all these points?
Scott, I love the Charlotte pick. I'm going to ride it again. Here's the deal in the last 4. 5.5-point dogs, won by 9 versus Memphis. 10-point dogs versus Indiana, won outright by 9. 7-point dog versus Atlanta, won by 23. 9.5-point dog versus Utah, won by 8. That's all since the Grant Williams trade. Everybody calls him the big bully. It doesn't matter. They're manning up right now. I will take the 13 with Charlotte tonight.
So they got him and they got rid of Scary Terry. Is that what the deal was? Dallas had Grant Williams and they moved him to Charlotte?
Charlotte's made a couple other small little deals. The good news is Scott, they're bringing in some veterans to go with that young core, and they're tough guys too. So they've kind of changed their attitude. Like you watch Charlotte games now, they're a little bit meaner and tougher. They were flaky before. They've been covering and winning outright. Can you believe that? 7-point dog, 10, 9.5. They win by 9, 23, and 8 as big dogs in every game. I'm riding them.
I'll bet the Dubs take them lightly tonight. The judge declines to dismiss the sexual assault and battery lawsuit against Dwight Howard. Now, I don't know the exact details, but I've, read some of it, right? Like, is this not like battery against some guy?
Yeah.
Like, he was with some dude?
Yes.
Oh, it was a threesome.
Yes. Threesome with dude. Yeah. Party time. Wow, Dwight likes to party. Superman. Oh, geez. Under the silk sheets. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. Let's just leave it. What is it? Dismissed? Thank you.
Yeah, well, no. He refused to dismiss it, so it's going to get even worse for Dwight Howard, who is still offering his services to any team in the NBA in the midst of his scandal, his three-way orgy scandal. He's willing to play for teams that need help down low. All right, can we look at the NBA win total increases? Here we go. I can't read any of that. Celtics.
Oh, yeah, small font. Okay, I'll give it to you.
Clippers,
I got better 20/20 vision. What I got? Celtics 53.5 to 63.5. Timberwolves 44 to 56.5. Clip joint 46 to 55.5. Thunder 43.5 to 55. Yeah, we do need bigger fonts, but let's rock.
So all those teams were at that number, and now they're at this number because they've all been playing that well, right? And then
correct.
What about the win total decreases? Here we go.
Warriors 49.5 to 44.5. Hawks 42.5 to 37.5. Raptors 37.5 to 29.5. Grizzlies 45.5 to 26.5, but Ja was out. Blazers 28.5 to 22.5, and so on. You know what? Hornets 31.5 to 18.5.
Yeah.
I'm taking the over 18.5 on the Hornets.
Yeah, I am too. That's where I'll draw the Mendoza line right there on Portland because I like the way the Hornets have been playing. All right, what about the latest MVP odds? Luka, the favored. Shai Gilgeous is second. Whiny Crybaby B is third. The Freak is fourth. And Tatum fifth. I want to see Shai Gilgeous win the MVP. I think the NBA wants Luka Doncic to win it.
You know what, Scott? And you know what? At plus 650, I think that's something we have to sink our teeth into. That's a good price on Doncic. We don't have to lay. Listen, I want SGA too, but 2-1's not going to help us get a bankroll here. 6.5, that's something we can deal with. I like the price for Doncic.
All right, let's look at a pain-free Friday slate in the NBA and see who the Prime Minister likes tonight. Get your gambling hats on, folks. Toronto in Atlanta. Atlanta's laying 7.5, 244.5.
No defense in this one. That total looks huge, but you know what? I still think it can get there. I have no faith in Atlanta covering numbers. They're one of the worst ATS teams going. These guys, what are they? They're brutal. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to bet the Raptors after their big win against Brooklyn, Scott. Is that a pass game? Yeah, I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I'm not going over in, frankly, any game Toronto's playing. I think Atlanta can cover the 7.5, and I'm going to stay under. Let's go Cleveland, Philly, in Philadelphia. Cleveland's laying 4, 228 the number. They laid an egg last night at home. Can they turn around on the road and beat Maxi Pad and company?
No, I'm going to take Cleveland after their loss to rebound in this game. I know the line has gone up. I see 4.5 now. Doesn't matter. I'm taking Cleveland. I'm going to put them in some money line parlays. As I said before, Scott, the Sixers are fade material.
I mean, Philly looked terrible last night against the Knicks, and I don't see how that number goes over. I mean, what they scored, 96 last night? You can't go over with 90 points.
Exactly.
Let's go to the next one. Phoenix in Houston, in H-Town. Houston getting 4, 233.5. I still think the Suns rub out the Rockets, and I don't care where the game is.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't really like going against home dogs, but I'm with you on Phoenix. This team actually has been pretty good, 7-3 ATS in the last 10. They've been covering numbers. I'm with you on the Suns, buddy.
Yeah, and I like the over. I bet it. I bet it at 233 this morning. It's at 233.5 now. I did bet that. All right, let's go to the Clippers and Memphis. Memphis is getting 9 at home on Beale Street, 221.5. Who do you like there? There's no way I'm betting on the Grizzlies.
Me neither. It's Clippers or nothing. Maybe add them to a money line parlay if you want to find something else, but I can't take the Grizz as a home dog in that spot. We got to be very careful picking our dogs like Orlando last night. I'm just not reaching for dogs because they're there. I'm going to pass on that game and put the Clippers in a couple things.
The Wizards are in OKC. They're laying up to 16 now, 242. Denver covered the 15 last night. Does the Thunder do it tonight?
You know what, Scott? The Thunder, these guys are 19-9 against the spread at home. All they do is murder teams. We want to take Washington in a bounce back. We can't, dude. You saw it. They got murdered again, and they're just a bad basketball team. So, yeah, it's we have to go the other way there. I don't care how many points it is. These guys might win by 28.
All right, Miami's in New Orleans at the Smoothie on Bourbon Street. New Orleans laying 3, 218.5. I will tell you that I bet the under 222 at minus 113 this morning. And I also believe that the Pelicans will win this game by more than 3.
I don't know, Scott. This game feels like a trap with that low line, but I do like the under in that game. I'm going to ride it with you.
Okay, and then Milwaukee, Minnesota. This one's at the Target. Minnesota laying 4, 225.5. I said earlier to Morency, I think the Bucks are so overrated and overhyped and overshown on TV. Minnesota's flat out better than them.
Agreed. And another thing, the Bucks, these guys they don't cover numbers. Minnesota too. It's a short number. They're at home. Give me the Timberwolves. I think they win this game by 8.
So Charlotte, I got them at 13.5 this morning at minus $1.15 on BetMGM. And I bet it. I took the 13.5. I just hope it's a great game at the Chase against the Dubs.
Me too, Scott. I was actually considering money line, and then I said, give your head a shake, Cam. That'll pay a boxcars, but I think they can keep this game close. I love Charlotte. Since the trades, buddy, they've been on fire. 4-0 ATS, winning outright as dogs. I'm in. Until they stop, I'm in. Go Charlotte.
Yeah, Denver and Portland at the Moda. And they're laying 9.5 against the Blazers. The Blazers are awful. I'll lay the 9.5. And not only that, I like the over. It's only 218 and a hook. I think the Nuggets are going to, they're going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of $130 here tonight against this crappy team. And then I need them, give me 95 points. And then I'm going to cover the number.
Yeah, I don't like laying those road points, but you're right. Portland's a train wreck. So I agree with you on the over as well. I like your total, Scott. You're on fire last night in the association. Let's keep it rolling.
Lakers laying 10 to the Spurs, 241 the number at the Crypt. LA's going to find a way to win this game. The question is, will they cover the wood?
No, it's Spurs or nothing for me. I'm not laying 10 points with the Lakers. You kidding me? I know the Spurs, these guys are tanking again, but I don't care. That's too many points. Lakers by 6. I'll take the Spurs plus the points.
And by the way, the Dubs 0-3-1 against the spread is a double-digit favorite this season. When we come back, we're going to start heading toward, at the top, at the very least, into some of the college rack from last night. A big upset in Tucson at the McHale Center. We're rolling on a Friday on Coast to Coast. Don't go anywhere.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
With the Nets, though, because this team is hot garbage. I mean, poor Jacques Vaughn. Talk about just wrong place, wrong times.
I mean, the reason that they parted ways with Jacques Vaughn in the first place, this is a team that, yes, they had Kyrie and KD at the beginning of the year last year, but they were still a team that made the playoffs. They were still a team that took the game off the 76ers. And going into the All-Star break, they weren't even in the play-in picture.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It felt during the year that there was a little bit of disconnect with Wilkes and Kyle Shanahan. The total points allowed by Steve Wilkes' defense the last 3 years before this, head coach for the Cardinals, they gave up the 26th most points, defensive coordinator for the Browns, 20th most points, and then Carolina, they gave up the 19th most points.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game Time Decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
To have you with us on Coast to Coast. Well, how about Prime tomorrow night at 8:30 in prime time on ABC, no less. It's the Celtics and Knicks from the world's most famous. Now, I wish Randall and Anunoby were playing in this game. Obviously, they've been getting guys back a little bit. I want to see Hartenstein, Randall, Anunoby, Achua, the whole lot, Brunson, Hart. I like that team when it's locked and loaded. When they're not locked and loaded, playing Boston is a dangerous thing. I think Boston will give them problems tomorrow night at the Garden based on – now, look, the Knicks have beaten everybody. They're not afraid of anybody. But they're not the same without those two guys, Anunoby and Randall. There's no cutting through that.
Great call, Scotty. And with those guys that you mentioned, what do they bring to the table too? Defense. And that's what you're going to need against Boston. OG's just a great defender and some big guys with big wingspans. You're right. Knicks will play with Boston. The problem is, if all those guys were in the lineup, I'd probably take the Knicks in that spot. But it's going to be pretty hard. But I think it's still going to be a close game. New York will grind.
Yeah, and on Sunday night at 7, Denver and Golden State at the Chase in the City by the Bay. And then a late night game at 9:30 with Sacramento at the Clippers in LA at the Crypt. So Saturday night primetime, delicious. Sunday night primetime and late night, delicious. if you're an NBA fan.
Big time. Those are great games. I'm going to be going back and forth, Scott. You know me, Ron Rubber. I like the ice, but I'm going to go hit the hardwood with those games, too. This is a quality slate on Saturday. We got college basketball greatness on Saturday, too. We got some real nice matchups. Can't wait for Saturday.
Yeah, and real quick, how we doing at the Mexican Open? Matt Wallace. We got Valimaki, Ortiz, a 3-way tie.
We're doing pretty good. I got a couple guys right now. Emiliano beefs on the grill. Carver's guy, T9. We're doing all right. We're lingering, Scott. We're lingering.
Don't go anywhere. We got 2 more hours, baby.